his help. Colin forced himself to sit up. He tried to stretch his mouth into an imitation of Mom's wide smile. "I am so ready to move boxes," he cried, "and clean houses, and do whatever else you want me to do. I live to work." Mom giggled. "Okay, laying it on a little thick there," she said, ruffling his thick, dark, curly hair that was almost exactly like hers, only shorter. "But you get an A for effort. I knew it'd be fun having more time together this summer." Colin did not say, "Yeah, that's every 12-year-old kid's fantasy, to spend more time working for his mom." He was too busy staring in horror at the red shirt she'd picked out for him to wear. "A collar?" he asked. "You want me to move boxes in 90-degree heat wearing a shirt with a collar?" Mom smoothed a wrinkle Colin hadn't noticed in the shirt. "Image, remember?" she said. 99% of the reason someone would hire me instead of you-know-who is my company's image. Nobody would believe a 4'11" female is going to be best at moving boxes if that's all it's about." Mom drew herself up to her full height, which Colin was pretty sure was only 4'10½", but he wasn't going to argue. He'd been taller than her since he was 9. He couldn't even remember how old he'd been the first time someone had said, "Wow, looks like your little boy got his height from his dad." And his mom said, "Yep," in a way that made it clear there would be no follow-up questions. Mom didn't talk about Dad. Neither did Colin. He learned not to talk too much about Mom's business either. Way back in 2nd grade, he'd given a speech in front of the whole class about her. He'd been so proud. He'd practiced again and again just saying the name of her company, Possession Curation. In 2nd grade, he'd still had a little trouble saying S's properly. He'd memorized her company motto, "You deserve only the best," and explained how helping people get rid of things that were old and broken and useless made it so their houses were cleaner, and they had more room, and they could enjoy having nice things instead. And then the meanest kid in the class, a boy named Hunter, spoke up without even raising his hand. "He means his mom is a garbage man. Colin's mom picks up trash. She's a woman garbage man." While the other kids laughed, the teacher tried to explain that, first of all, the actual term was garbage collector, and secondly, there's nothing wrong with being a garbage man, collector, and certainly not anything wrong with a woman doing that. And anyhow, that wasn't exactly what Colin was saying, was it, Colin? Hunter had called Colin garbage boy the rest of the school year anyhow. But that wasn't even what hurt. No, what hurt was when the nicest kid in the class, a girl named Shivani, raised her hand right after that. Colin could see by the earnest look on her face that she wanted to help. Her voice was so kind when she said, "Do you mean your mom is like that guy on TV, the Junk King?" Colin had started shaking, and he'd actually shouted back at Shivani, "No, my mom is not like the Junk King. She's nothing like him at all." And then he'd run and hidden in the bathroom, because how could he have shouted at someone like Shivani? And how could anyone think Mom was like the Junk King? "Earth to Colin," Mom said now. "Where'd you go just then?" "Just thinking," Colin said. "Think and move at the same time," Mom said. She handed him his shirt and shorts. "Breakfast's in 5 minutes. I want to be out the door in 20. We've got a lot to do today." Colin was not good at thinking and moving at the same time. He wasn't particularly good at doing anything. He was best at just being. This was going to be the worst summer of his life.
2. Nevaeh's Summer, Day 1. Nevaeh tucked the cereal box under her arm, plucked a spoon from the silverware drawer, and without looking, reached into the cupboard for a bowl. Her hand met empty air, and then a bare shelf. She glanced toward the sink and yanked open the door.